What is going on, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the top couple of stocks and ETFs that I'm watching for the first week of trading in December of 2018. So for those of you guys that are new to my channel, my name is Stas, and I make videos dealing with swing trading, day trading, long-term investing, and my personal philosophies and strategies when it comes down to investing and trading in the stock market. So for those of you guys that want to learn more about that, feel free to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram as well as on Twitter, and join our Discord group chat as well as our Facebook group. All of those are linked down below in the description box. And if you guys want to be in contact with me and about 300 other traders and investors on a day-to-day basis, feel free to join that Discord group chat, guys. We're talking about trading, investing, stocks, news, strategies, and just networking with each other on a day-to-day basis to become the best possible traders and investors that we can. And again, all of those are linked down below in the description box. And let's get started right with today's video. So I'm sure a bunch of you guys have heard the pretty good news that we got yesterday regarding the trade war with President Trump and the president of China. And before we do get into some stocks and ETFs that could be affected by this good news, let's hop over here to this Yahoo Finance article and talk a little bit about what happened yesterday regarding these 90-day halt to the tariffs. So big news, guys. So if you guys were watching my video this past Friday, I believe, I was talking about the Buenos Aires meeting that, President Trump and President Xi, I don't know how to exactly pronounce that. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but they were having a meeting in, Buenos Aires regarding, the trading war, the trade war, the tariffs, all these different things. So let's hop right into this right here. So China and the U.S. agreed to halt additional tariffs in a deal that keeps their trade war from escalating as the two sides try again to bridge their differences with fresh talks aimed at reaching an agreement within 90 days. So pretty much, guys, the tariffs are remaining at about 10% right now. Trump was saying he wanted them to be at 25%, but they agreed to postpone, like I just read, postpone it for about 90 days for further, negotiations for an agreement to come about. So the White House said on Saturday that President Donald Trump told Chinese President during high-stakes talks in Argentina that he would not boost tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese goods to 25%. So Trump imposed 10% tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods in September. China responded with its own tariffs. Trump has also threatened to put tariffs on another $267 billion worth of Chinese imports as the relationship appeared set to worsen in the weeks ahead of the Argentina, meeting. So did they come to an agreement? They did not come to an agreement. They're pretty much just halting their decision for 90 days. So this is some good short-term news for the stock market, in my personal opinion. Drop a comment down below. What do you guys think about this big news that we just got here? And this could be, a settling factor that could eventually or, initially push up the stock market this week and next week. Because again, guys, like I've been talking about in the previous couple of videos, there's a bunch of doubt surrounding the stock market, and what investors do not like, what the stock market does not like, is doubt and uncertainty. And that's exactly what we've been in terms of the state of the stock market, the state of a bunch of stock market investors out there. There's been a bunch of uncertainty, a bunch of doubt, and that's what we do not like. So this with this agreement, kind of an agreement to keep it at 10% for 90 days. This is a pretty good sign, in my personal opinion, for the overall stock market, and kind of putting that doubt a little bit to the side, as of now, right? Because, in 90 days, we're going to figure out what's going to end up happening with that whole situation again. So we've been talking about the overall markets, and I like talking about the overall markets in all of my videos to begin off every single video, so we can get an idea and a glimpse at what's happening in the overall stock market, because this is what we do to determine what we're going to be trading either that day, the next day, the next week, the next, couple of days, whatever it may be. So let's just talk about very quickly what's going on right now in the overall stock market. So for those of you guys that watched my video on Friday, I already did this technical analysis, but I'll run it through very quickly yet again for all you new viewers out there, because I do get new viewers on a day-to-day basis, so I just wanted to go over this very quickly. So we noticed the Dow Jones bounced on this support at about 24,500. It broke above the 50 SMA, right? It held above that 50 SMA. Very, very good sign that it's becoming a new support level. And now we're noticing that after those 2 days of consolidation on top of the 50 SMA, we bounced, and now we're pushing up towards this 180-day simple moving average. And now with this good news surrounding the trade war, the tariffs, we could potentially push up and continue to push up, testing this next resistance at about the 180 SMA, and then ultimately up here at about $26,000, up about, 700 points from where we are currently right now. So if you guys think, the Chinese tariff situation right now is going to cause the markets to push up, let me know what you guys think down there. And if you guys think it's going to, not really affect the short-term push of the market, if you think we're going to continue to sell off, although we did get a glimpse of good news, let me know again. So, that's what we're looking at in terms of the technicals of the Dow Jones. The S&P, very similar, guys. We bounced on the support at about $2,630. We broke above the 50 SMA here, held above it for 2 days, and then we pushed up above it. So we held above the SMA, 50 SMA, making that a new support level, and we bounced above it, really just solidifying and confirming that support level, and now we're pushing up for higher highs. And the next resistance here is probably going to be at the 180 SMA, roughly at about $2,800, and the next one at about $2,815 at this resistance that we've had trouble getting above over the past couple of weeks. So S&P, guys, Dow Jones looking very good, holding above the 50 simple moving averages on these 180-day 4-hour charts. And now last but not least, the Nasdaq/NQ. This one broke out of this 180 SMA resistance that's been a very strong resistance over the past couple of months. Ever since, the big sell-off in October, this has been a huge resistance point. We notice here it got rejected, here it got rejected, here it got rejected, and now we did not get rejected again, but we held above it now, making it a new support level, and now we're pushing up above it and, pushing up for a higher high. So all of the indexes are holding above the simple moving averages. They've consolidated above them on the 180-day 4-hour chart, and now they're pushing up, pretty much from that consolidation phase. Although they are all oversold right now, all of them are not oversold, guys. They're pretty much all overbought. This Chinese tariff situation could end up pushing them up even more, and only time will tell. We'll find out tomorrow what ends up happening, in the markets. And for those of you guys that don't know, FYI, the markets are actually closed this Wednesday due to George Bush Sr. passing away. May he rest in peace. And, that's pretty much a little update there. Markets closed on Wednesday, so we only have 4 days of trading this week. So now let's talk about what we're going to be watching for this upcoming week. So it's going to be a very tricky week this week, in my personal opinion, guys, because, this situation with the tariffs, it really could end up pushing up the entire markets. And my plan for this week is to just sit back and see what's going to happen pre-market hours tomorrow and heading into, the opening 30 minutes, 1 hour of the market. Is the market going to positively react to this, or is it going to negatively react to this somehow and push down the price? And that's pretty much going to determine what I'm going to be trading. But let's talk about some different stocks and ETFs that I'm going to be trading based off of 2 separate scenarios that could happen. Starting off with, let's say the market does push up 500 points tomorrow in terms of the Dow Jones. Let's say the Nasdaq pushes up 200 points, and let's say the S&P 500 pushes up 50, 60 points, right? Let's say all of them push up 2-3% tomorrow due to this good news. If this does happen, guys, I'm going to be focusing very heavily on TQQQ as well as, what's the other one? QQQ, I have not actually added this one on here yet, but TQQQ as well as QQQ both go up in price when the overall markets are going up in price as well. So if you guys want to trade an ETF that goes up as the markets go up, I recommend trading TQQ as well as QQQ. And if you do believe the markets are going to be going up tomorrow, these are going to be pretty good plays in my personal opinion. But just judging off of the technicals, guys, we are all at resistance points. Well, these two, these two ETFs that go up when the markets go up, they're both at resistance points. So I would be pretty careful here, guys, because, although the markets are bound to go up tomorrow, since this is pretty good news, the overall markets are overbought in terms of the RSI indicator, and the TQQQ as well as the QQQ ETFs, they're both at the overbought side as well. But again, doesn't matter if it's overbought, guys. Things can happen where, although it's overbought, it can still shoot up 10%, 15% in price. Because again, guys, we don't really focus on one indicator to make our decisions when we're trading in stocks. We just use these indicators to supplement our decisions. So although they are overbought, these could shoot up even more tomorrow if the markets are green, and I'm going to be focusing on these very, very closely, tomorrow to trade if this is, if we are pushing up pre-market hours especially. So QQQ, TQQQ, and pretty much all the large cap stocks, guys. Large cap stocks are going to play very, very well tomorrow if the markets end up reacting positively to this news, and if we're pushing up pre-market hours and heading into the beginning of the market. I personally believe, guys, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon, just a couple of, of these tech stocks, these big stocks, could end up favoring very nicely, playing very nicely, from this news that we got. So let's just take a look at some of these stocks right here. Apple, it seems like we are getting rejected by this 50 SMA here, which has been a very strong resistance in the past, but since it has a huge, weight on the overall market, this one's bound to move either up pretty heavily tomorrow or down pretty heavily tomorrow. So I'm looking to play Apple. For those of you guys that have not watched my previous couple of videos, I'm currently in Facebook as a swing trade. I'm in at about 138.15 or something like that, 138.20. And, this one could fend very well, play very well tomorrow if the overall markets end up going up in price. Amazon, guys, this one has good potential as well, since it already broke above the 180 simple moving average. We could see it hold above there potentially and continue to go up in price, especially again if the markets go up tomorrow. Microsoft is looking pretty decent on a technical perspective right here. If we're able to break out of this resistance at about 110, we could end up running to 116, which does give us a little profit of about 3-4%. So that is a pretty solid swing trade in my personal opinion. Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT. And another one that I'm watching, and I'm actually currently invested in this one, and this one's actually been going up ever since the markets have been selling off these past 2 months, which is actually pretty cool, right? And this is Hershey, ticker symbol HSY. And I'm in this one with a very small position, guys, because I scale into my positions. For those of you guys that don't know, I scale into my positions to mitigate my risk, and what this means is that, let's say I have a goal position size of $5,000, right? I go in with that with about $1,000 at first, and then slowly add more money as the stock or the ETF goes up in price. This way, if it doesn't go up in price, it goes down 2-3%, hits my stop loss with only $1,000, right? I only lose about $20, $30, right? But if I went all in with $5,000 and I lost 2-3%, what's that, right? 5 times 20 to 30, you'd be losing $100 to $150, which is a huge difference from that 20 to 30 loss if you were to scale in slowly with $1,000. So HSY looking very good, broke above the 50 simple moving average. Now, what I want to see before I do add more money into HSY is I want to see tomorrow if it's able to hold above this 50 SMA, hold above it maybe for a couple of days, and then continue to push up, testing that next resistance at about 109, and then ultimately at $110, where I do plan on selling this swing trade. And this is a very small percentage profit swing trade, guys. But again, I'm a pretty conservative trader, so even if I make 2% on one swing trade in a matter of 2 weeks, I'm happy with that, right? I'm pretty happy with that. So I know we were talking about the weed stocks about a couple of trading days ago, and they're actually looking very good again on a technical perspective, especially CGC and CHRON, ticker symbol CRON. And if we're looking at CHRON and CGC, guys, especially with CGC here, we're looking at, it's holding very nicely above the support at $32, which was a previous resistance. And remember, when a stock's price, when the candlesticks are breaking out of a resistance point, that now becomes a new support point. So since we broke out of here, this has been a new support point. We can tell here the past couple of weeks, it bounced from 31 all the way up to 45. We pulled back. We've been holding very nicely above here now, and now we're testing this 50 simple moving average. So I think there's a lot of potential in CGC if we're able to break out of this 50 simple moving average and to start to push up in price. I do think there's at least about 10-15% margin on this one up to the previous resistance point at about the 180 SMA, the 180 simple moving average right around here at about $40. So CHRON, very similar, guys. We bounced on this previous resistance at about $7, $8. We held above it here. We're pushing up, and now we're testing this 180 simple moving average, right? And if this does end up breaking above here, guys, we could end up running to about $10, which is the previous resistance point right here. And that does give us about, what is that, like 8%, 9%, 10% from where we are right now. So the main stocks, guys, that I'm watching tomorrow, especially if the markets do go up in price, are TQQQ, QQQ, CHRON, CGC. Those are my two weed plays. Those are obviously more risky plays. Hershey, Facebook, Apple, and pretty much all of the large cap stocks tomorrow. But let's say, scenario number 2, let's say the markets sell off tomorrow, which I personally think they're not going to be selling off tomorrow, to be completely honest with you guys. I think the markets are going to positively react to this news, but yet again, I could be wrong, right? I'm not right all the time. No one is right all the time. No one can predict what the stock market is going to do. I'm just giving you guys my personal opinion. So let's say scenario 2, let's say it does go down in price. What am I going to be playing? I'm pretty much going to be playing the opposite of TQQQ as well as QQQ, which is TVIX as well as, SQQQ. So these go up in price when the overall markets are selling off, and obviously we can see, since the markets have been coming back up the past couple of trading days, SQQQ has taken a hit, as well as TVIX. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I'm going to be very patient with what I'm going to be trading tomorrow. I really want to see a definitive direction in the market before I do hop into any different trades, stocks, ETFs, whatever we're looking at tomorrow. And I do advise you guys to, do your own research, do your own due diligence, do not trade based off of my personal opinion. And, if you guys want to see where the overall markets are pushing, just take a look at the Dow Jones tomorrow, take a look at the Nasdaq, and then take a look at the S&P, and that'll help you decide what to trade. And this is what I personally do. A bunch of other people in our group do this, and it really works, guys. It really works. You just got to pay attention, pay attention to the markets, be very cautious, and wait for opportunities to come to you. Do not force any trades, because that's how you're going to get bit in the butt and lose money in the stock market. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram as well as on Twitter, and join our Discord group as well as our Facebook group. All of those are linked down below in the description box. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.